morning, boys and girls. It's another glorious Monday morning here in Dublin, and once again I find myself on this wonderful rooftop with the view of the city all around me. It's just one of those days that just feels somehow great to be breathing. It feels great to be alive, and you know, I think we need to kind of take our time and appreciate that often enough. We necessarily don't do that, and I think it's something really, really important, because it's too easy to take all of this for granted, and at the same time we're all so fragile. I mean, all it takes is one wrong step and you step in front of the bus, or get hit by a car, or fall down the stairs, or whatever it is, and you could be gone, you know. Anyway, this fine Monday, after that deep thought, I'd like to draw your attention a little bit on something. Last Monday I talked about the concept of time and how we make excuses of not having time, but the other thing I really want to talk to you guys about is kind of how we use that time in a different angle of, like, in the sense of in a business we very often talk about the ROI, which is return in your investment. ROI, getting my abbreviations all mixed up this morning. And one thing I think particularly I'm really good at is playing the long game. I'm really good at investing on something that I don't necessarily see a return on it for years to come. In fact, there's things that I've invested and I invested a ridiculous amount of time and I still haven't seen any return on that investment, but I do believe that the return on that investment is still going to happen. But also, not everything is like as direct as, you do this and you get that. It can be something that, like, you do this and it helps you further along the road when you're doing something completely different, but this aspect of it helps you. So my point is that when you look at anything that you're gonna do in your life, you're gonna need a lot of patience for starters. But like any kind of big new thing you start, very rarely is the return gonna be just around the next corner. It is gonna take time, and you have to have patience when you do anything. Like 2 years in a business is a long time, but at the same time it's a very short time. 2 years in a music business is very short time, unless we're talking about the actual social media marketing, where you're gone if you don't keep your appearance. You disappear very fast. But as like a career path, it's 2 years is nothing. So you invest your time on something, you have to allow the long game to be part of it. Like time, like I think time has a different value to different people. Like, for example, for me, I was always, when I was younger, I was very eager to kind of get things done yesterday, and it frustrated me when I couldn't do anything about it. And then when that frustration kicked in, I ended up kind of wasting time a lot. Whereas now I'm kind of better at allocating that time in a sense that, like, okay, I'm doing this, and I know it's going to take a little while before I see anything out of it. So while that's happening, I'll concentrate on this or some other thing. That's why I do kind of have a lot of things going on at the moment, and I do believe that that's something that any artist is going to need to do. You can't just go on one level and go at it, And I mean, I'll give you a good example. Is that, like, last weekend I spent a little bit of time watching it was whatever the charts, one of the TV channels that had music channels that had some sort of charts, and I realized something, that there was ridiculously many artists in the top 10, even top 40, who were actually, it was whoever featuring this artist and whoever featuring this artist. Like, very few were just that directly just a track from this particular person. All the big hits were, like, a huge amount of them were actually collaborations. And it's one of those things, like, the whole working at Velocity has taught me that the power of collaboration, and allocating time to that. Like, allocating time, like, when you're working on your music career, you say you're so busy working on your music career. I doubt that you actually really are. You are very focused on it. You are very you have a very single track view on it. but I bet you have more time on the side. And you see, these big artists, what we don't learn from them, and when we look at them, is that they've been collaborating all along their journey. Like, they've been piggybacking of other artists' followers, and like, you know, the collaborations that I was looking at during the weekend are insane, and they're like, some of them are obvious matches. Oh, somebody's private jet just flew over. Sorry about that distraction, but yeah, these collaborations that I was watching, a lot of them were very, like, you could see that some of these artists weren't necessarily piggybacking on the bigger artists, you know, following. Like, there was complete mix of stuff, and by that I mean like that it's not always that you just go like, okay, I want to collaborate with somebody massive. It could be something like somebody could be smaller following. They might have a smaller following that you have, and you could get something out of it. You know, it's not always like it's easier for you to collaborate with somebody who has a smaller following than you do, because you are offering them more value. And if you always try to offer more value than you're asking, great things start to happen to you. I can guarantee you that. And if you do the smaller scale collaborations a lot more, they add up. They absolutely and 100% add up. Today, which by the time you're going to see is last week, I get to push out a collaboration of one artist here in Velocity who's been kind of active in the network, who's been doing their business, you know, collaborating, adding tracks, contributing to other people's tracks, and being very grateful to be able to do that. Today I get to send an email of introducing them to the whole network of Velocity, which by the way is quite massive at the moment, and they get exposure to that, and they're gonna see how so many people are gonna jump on their song and contributing to it, and I bet they're gonna have amazing experience, because I had the very first time I did it, it was just mind-blowing, and I still get excited every time I push one of my songs. But to get to do that to somebody else is gonna be just amazing. And that's, you know, as an artist, that's not a return on my investment as an artist personally, but as a human being, and like being somebody who's passionate about the business of music and the independent artist, being able to do that, it's absolutely amazing. I believe it's something that somewhere along the line, if I do this often enough, there'd be an army of musicians who believe that I helped them along the way, and maybe someday when I push out something, they'll be helping me along the way. And I believe it's going to be something that, yeah, it's going to come back to me in a good way. And the third side of it is obviously the Velocity side, which I'm involved in the company at the moment. Right now, as we speak, I'm not actually getting a wage out of it. I'm not getting anything out of it. There's a future possibility of that, but as much as I kind of would like to be in that position, it's not my number one priority now. My number one priority is to see this company grow, because I believe in it, because I believe it can really, really connect people. On the other hand, I've learned so much in the past nearly 3 months now. It's unbelievable how much I learned, and how much it questions everything I do, how much it questions how I do things. And to me, these kind of things are massive, massive return on my investment of time. So think about how you invest your time. Is there anything you can do that could be like something that you don't see return straight away, but it might be a massive return somewhere along the line? Because it's easy to do that, the quick return on investment, but play the long game for a little while. Like, think about whether it's a collaborating, whether it's helping a friend, whether it's whatever it is, like whether it's just making your local community better somehow. Like, what are those little steps that you could do to make this world a better place, and have that return on your investment come back to you in tenfold somewhere further down the line? Think big, you know, dream big, think long scale, be patient. And guys, have an absolutely wonderful week, have an absolutely wonderful Monday, and I shall talk to you guys more soon.